Real men box, not prance around in purple. Those words from Derek Mason to Prince backstage at Caesar's Palace were the last cocky statement the undefeated heavyweight would make before learning 2 brutal lessons in one night. Muhammad Ali beat him physically in 8 rounds, landing combinations that proved disrespecting the champion's friend was a strategic mistake. Then Prince beat him spiritually in 5 minutes, standing center ring without gloves or protection, just words that cut deeper than any punch. You're only half strong because true strength is creating, not just destroying. Find your art. Discover what you can build, not just what you can break. But Mason's insult wasn't random cruelty. It was the defensive reaction of a man who'd spent his entire life mastering one form of strength and couldn't comprehend that courage came in other forms. That vulnerability on stage in front of 20,000 people exposing your soul through music required bravery as real as facing fists in the ring. And that Prince's purple suit and heeled boots were armor for a different kind of battle that Mason had never fought and couldn't win because he'd never learned that real men create beauty instead of just inflicting pain. March 1985. Caesar's Palace, Las Vegas. 6:00 p.m. Rumble in the Desert 2. Ali versus Derek the Destroyer, Mason. 20,000 sold out. Ali 43, prime condition. Mason 28, undefeated 24-0 heavyweight. Prince arrived in a custom purple limousine for pre-fight entertainment, his appearance creating buzz through the backstage area. Purple suit tailored perfectly, heeled boots adding 3 inches, subtle eyeliner defining his eyes. $500,000 for 15 minutes of performance, the highest fee any musical act had ever received for a boxing event. Backstage corridor. Mason emerged from his locker room, shadow boxing, saw Prince and stopped. "Yo, who let the circus in? This is boxing, not Broadway." Prince kept walking. Mason's trainer. "Derek, that's Prince. He's performing tonight." Mason louder. "I don't care. Look at him. Makeup, high heels. That's not a man. That's a costume." Prince stopped, turned, calm, assessing. Mason approached, aggressive. "What? You gonna sing me a lullaby? Real men box. Real men sweat. Real men don't prance around in purple." Prince's voice was quiet. "Real men respect other men's talents. Enjoy your fight." Walked away. Mason laughed. "Did you see that? He's soft. If Ali fights like him, I'll knock him out in 2 rounds. Mason thought masculinity meant muscles and aggression, but he was about to discover that the 2 men he'd just disrespected, one with fists, one with music, were about to teach him that real strength has nothing to do with how loud you talk and everything to do with how you respond when someone challenges your integrity. Ali's locker room next door. The walls were thin, cheap construction from the 60s, never meant to. Contained secrets. He heard everything, every word, every laugh, every insult. Angelo Dundee wrapping Ali's hands. Ali stopped. "What did that boy say about Prince?" "He called him soft, said real men box, not sing." Ali stood. Rare anger. That disrespectful punk. Prince is an artist. Takes more courage to stand on stage in front of millions than punch someone in a ring. Champ, don't let it. "No, he disrespected my friend. Prince performed at my charity last year. Good man. Humble. That boy needs to learn respect." Ali walked to the door. Mason still in hallway, laughing with his team. "Derek," Ali's voice cut through. Mason turned. "I heard what you said. You disrespect Prince? You disrespect me? You think toughness is just fists? You're wrong. Prince has more courage in his pinky than you got in your whole body. He creates art, touches souls. You just hit people. I'm a fighter, that's... You're a bully. Tonight, I'm teaching you a lesson about respect. This fight, dedicated to Prince. Every punch is for him." Mason laughed nervously. "You're 43, Ali. You're gonna lose. And after I beat you, Prince gonna teach you what real strength is. See you in the ring, boy." Ali walked away. Mason stood stunned. Ali had just transformed a boxing match into a teaching moment, and Mason still didn't understand that the worst decision he'd made all night wasn't agreeing to fight the greatest, but insulting the artist the greatest had chosen to defend. 8 Cause, p.m., Caesar's Palace Arena packed, 20,000 buzzing, portable stage ringside. Prince took position. Crowd erupted. 15 minutes. Let's go crazy. Crowd wild. Purple rain. Emotional. Lighters up. Kiss. Funk. Dancing. Prince finished, bowed, walked backstage to thunderous applause. Mason watched on the small locker room TV. His team gathered around. The performance was undeniably powerful, the crowd's reaction visible even through the grainy monitor. Okay, he can perform. I'll give him that. Mason's voice was defensive. But that's not courage. That's not real bravery. That's just entertainment. That's getting paid to sing. His trainer didn't respond. He'd heard Ali's promise. Mason had made a terrible mistake. Prince had just demonstrated to 20,000 people exactly what Mason couldn't comprehend, that standing alone on a stage exposing your soul through music while thousands watch requires a kind of courage that has nothing to do with physical strength and everything to do with emotional honesty. And in 45 minutes, Mason would learn that lesson the hard way. 8:30 p.m. Ring announcements echoed through Caesar's Palace. Derek the Destroyer Mason, 24 wins, 0 losses, undefeated heavyweight champion. Mason entered first, cocky, shadow boxing, mean-mugging the crowd. 28 years old and convinced his youth and record made him unstoppable. Muhammad Ali, the greatest of all time. The crowd roared. Legends never die, even at 43. Ali entered wearing white trunks, moving with the fluid grace that had defined his career. Before climbing into the ring, Ali walked directly to Prince's ringside VIP seat, extended his glove. Prince stood, touched it. Ali spoke clearly enough for nearby microphones to catch it. "This is for you." Prince nodded, respectful, grateful. 20,000 people witnessing a dedication they didn't fully understand yet. The bell rang. Round 1. Mason came out aggressive, trying to prove himself. Big swings, power punches, the kind of fighting that looks impressive but wastes energy. Ali went defensive. Rope-a-dope, the legendary strategy that had beaten George Foreman. Let Mason tire himself throwing punches at air while Ali conserved energy and studied patterns. "Stand still and fight," Mason yelled mid-round. Ali's response was calm. "I'm fighting smart, like Prince performs smart. Strategy, boy." The comment confused Mason, but he didn't have time to think about it. Ali's lightning jabs started finding their target. Pop, pop, pop. Not power punches yet, just enough to score points and frustrate. Round 2 and 3 continued the same pattern. Mason swinging wild. Ali dancing, jabbing, making the younger fighter look clumsy. Float like a butterfly, sting like a bee, in full effect. Between rounds, Mason's corner tried to adjust strategy. "He's too fast, too smart. You need to—" "I can beat him," Mason gasped. "I just need to land one big punch." His trainer looked concerned. "You disrespected Prince. Ali's proving a point. This isn't just a fight anymore." Mason had entered the ring, thinking youth and strength would overwhelm experience and strategy, but Ali was teaching him the same lesson Prince taught on stage every night, that true mastery isn't about raw power, but about understanding your craft so deeply that you can make the impossible look effortless. And the real knockout was coming not from fists, but from the realization that everything Mason believed about strength was wrong. Round 4. Ali stopped dancing, started hunting. The defensive genius became offensive destroyer. Combinations came fast, jab to the head, hook to the body, uppercut to the chin. Mason tried to cover up, but Ali was too precise, finding openings that shouldn't exist. Mason's left eye started swelling. His breathing got heavier. Between rounds, his corner worked frantically with ice and adrenaline. "He's too fast," his trainer said. "Too smart. You're taking too much punishment." Mason spat blood into the bucket. "I can beat him. I just need—" "You need respect," his trainer interrupted. "You disrespected Prince. Ali's proving something. This isn't about boxing anymore. This is about teaching you a lesson." Round 5 and 6 were systematic destruction. Ali's combinations were textbook perfect. Every punch served a purpose. Head, body, head, breaking down Mason's defense piece by piece. The crowd chanted, "Ali! Ali! Ali!" Mason's face was a mess. Both eyes swelling, lips split, breathing through his mouth, but pride kept him standing, refusing to go down, refusing to quit. Mason was learning what every artist knows, that the hardest part of any performance isn't the beginning when you're fresh and confident, but the middle when exhaustion sets in, and pride is the only thing keeping you from quitting. And Ali was forcing him to experience what Prince experienced on stage every night. The vulnerability of being exposed in front of thousands with nowhere to hide and nothing protecting you except your commitment to finishing what you started. Have you ever had to learn a lesson the hard way? Mason thought disrespecting Prince would make him look tough. Instead, it made him a target for one of history's greatest fighters who decided to dedicate an entire boxing match to teaching him about respect. Sometimes the lessons that change us most aren't the ones we seek, but the ones we earn through our own mistakes. What's a hard lesson you've learned that changed how you see strength? Share your experience. Round 7. Mason was exhausted, beaten, but still standing through sheer, stubborn pride. Ali, mid-round, after landing a sharp combination, did something unexpected. He pointed directly at Prince, sitting ringside, shouted loud enough for the microphones to pick up, "That's for the artist!" then landed the hardest right hook of the entire fight. Mason stumbled backward, legs wobbling, barely staying upright. The crowd erupted. 20,000 people on their feet. Prince stood at ringside, watching Ali fight for him, moved by the gesture, witnessing the champion transform a boxing match into a statement about defending friends and honoring different forms of courage. The bell rang. Round 7 over. Mason made it back to his corner, but barely. His trainer looked at the referee, considering throwing in the towel. "One more round," Mason gasped. "Let me finish this." Don King, the legendary fight promoter, leaned to his companion ringside. "I've promoted 500 fights, seen every knockout, every comeback, but I've never seen this. Ali's not just winning. He's making a point, and that point is gonna hurt worse than any punch." Ali had just demonstrated something Mason didn't understand, that real champions don't just fight for themselves, but for principles that matter more than personal victory. And the dedication to Prince wasn't just gesture, but promise that every punch Ali landed was payment for the disrespect Mason had shown, teaching him that words have consequences and insulting someone's courage will bring you face to face with the very strength you denied. Round 8. Mason came out knowing this might be his last round, pride forcing him forward. Ali could have finished him any time, but he waited, let Mason throw weak punches, gave him dignity before ending it, then the combination. Jab, jab, right cross, perfect execution. Mason hit the canvas hard. The referee counted. 1, 2, 3. Mason tried to stand, got to one knee at 8. The count hit 10. Knockout. Ali wins. Ali walked to Mason, extended his hand, helped him up. "You fought brave, but you learned?" Mason dizzy, defeated. "Learned what? That disrespecting others doesn't make you stronger. I beat you because you came with hate. I came with love. Love for my friend Prince. I was wrong about him. Tell him. Not me." Ali took the microphone. "Ladies and gentlemen, I want to bring someone special up here. Before this fight, Derek Mason disrespected my friend, called him soft, said real men box, not sing. But I just showed Derek. Real men respect other men's talents. And now my friend gonna show Derek what real strength looks like. Prince, come up here. The crowd roared. Prince walked to the ring. Security helped him through the ropes. Mason sat in his corner, shamefaced. Mason thought the fight was over when he hit the canvas, but Ali knew the real lesson hadn't started yet. That physical defeat would heal in weeks, but the spiritual teaching Prince was about to deliver would change Mason's entire understanding of what it means to be strong. And sometimes the hardest part of losing isn't admitting you were beaten, but admitting you were wrong. Prince stood center ring, microphone in hand. 20,000 people, silent, curious. Derek Mason sat in his corner, beaten, humiliated, waiting for whatever came next. Prince looked at Mason directly, spoke with the same calm dignity he'd shown in the backstage corridor hours earlier. "Derek, you called me soft. Said real men box, not sing. I understand why you think that. You've trained your whole life, sacrifice, pain, discipline. Boxing is your art. I respect that." Mason looked up. Surprised, Prince wasn't angry. "But strength comes in many forms. You're strong with fists. I'm strong with voice. Both valid." Prince walked closer. "You think performing is easy? Standing in front of 20,000 people, exposing your soul through music? That takes courage. You risk body in the ring. I risk heart on stage. Different risks, same bravery. Ali just beat you physically, but he did it with strategy, intelligence, not just strength. That's what you missed. Real strength isn't just muscles. It's respect, humility, honoring other people's paths." Mason was listening now, really listening. "Derek, you're an undefeated boxer. 24-0 before tonight. Impressive, but have you ever created art?" Mason looked confused. "Art? Music? Painting? Poetry? Something that touches souls, not just bodies?" "No, I just fight." "Then you're only half strong, because true strength is creating, not just destroying." Prince's voice was gentle but firm. "I challenge you. After you heal from tonight, find your art. Discover what you can build, not just what you can break. Then you'll understand. Courage isn't just facing an opponent in a ring. It's facing yourself and creating something honest." Mason stood slowly, walked to Prince, 20,000 people watching, extended his hand. "Prince, I was wrong. I judged you without knowing you. You're right. I've spent my whole life fighting, breaking, destroying, never built anything." Prince shook his hand. "It's not too late. You're 28. You have time. Find what you can create." Mason's voice shook. "Can you teach me? Teach you music? Teach me how to be strong like you, not just physically, emotionally." Prince smiled genuinely. "That's a lesson you already learned tonight, by admitting you were wrong. That took more courage than any punch." Ali joined them center ring. "Ladies and gentlemen, tonight you witnessed 2 victories. I beat Derek in boxing, but Prince beat Derek in life. And Derek beat himself by admitting his mistake. That's what champions do. We grow, we learn, we respect." Ali put his arm around Mason. "You lost the fight, but you won wisdom. That's the bigger victory." 20,000 people gave a standing ovation. Not just for Ali's knockout, not just for Prince's words, but for Mason's transformation, for watching a man admit he was wrong and commit to becoming better. Backstage, 11:00 p.m., Mason, ice pack on face, sat with Prince and Ali. "I called you soft, but standing in that ring with no fists to protect you, just words, that's braver than anything I do." "Different bravery," Prince replied. "You face physical pain, I face emotional vulnerability. Both scary. Tonight you faced both," Ali added. "Physical pain from me, emotional pain from admitting you were wrong. That's complete strength. The challenge you gave me. Find my art. Where do I start? What moves you when you're not fighting?" Mason thought. "Poetry. I write poetry in hotel rooms. Never showed anyone. Too embarrassed." Prince smiled. "That's your art. Share it. That's your next fight." April 1985. Mason retired. 25-1 record. Started spoken word poetry. 1987, first book, Knockout Lessons, dedicated to Prince Plus Ali. Opening poem, I thought strength was fists, but I was wrong. 2016, Ali died. Mason's tribute. Ali taught me respect others' strength. Prince taught me find your strength beyond fists. I owe both my soul. 2 months later, Prince died. Mason's poetry reading tribute, crying, You challenged me. Find your art. I found it. Because of you. 2 legends died this year. Their lessons live in me, forever. Mason had entered Caesar's palace thinking real men box, not sing, and left understanding that real men create beauty instead of just inflicting pain, that the strongest warriors are the ones who can admit they were wrong and transform themselves, and that sometimes the greatest victories come not from knocking opponents down, but from lifting yourself up by becoming more than just your fists, which is exactly what happened when 2 legends, one with punches, one with words, taught a cocky fighter that courage has nothing to do with how hard you hit, and everything to do with how honest you can be about your own limitations. Real strength isn't measured in knockouts, but in transformations. Ali could have just beaten Mason and walked away. Prince could have stayed silent and let the boxing match speak for itself. Instead, they both chose to teach. Ali with 8 rounds of physical lessons, Prince with 5 minutes of spiritual truth. Share this story with someone who thinks strength is just physical. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is admit you were wrong and create something beautiful instead of just destroying what's in front of you. But this wasn't the only time Prince chose teaching over ego. There was another night, another challenge, another moment when someone questioned Prince's strength, and Prince's response proved that the greatest artists don't just perform, they transform everyone who witnesses them by showing that vulnerability is armor and honesty is the most courageous thing you can bring to any arena, whether it's a boxing ring or a stage. That story begins with someone who thought Prince couldn't handle pressure without his instruments, and Prince's answer taught them that real power comes from stripping everything away until nothing's left but truth.